I'm Amanda Marcotte. My guest today is film director and writer John Waters. He's got a new book out called Make Trouble. It's based on a commencement speech he gave in 2015 at the Rhode Island School of Design. It's kind of a picture book. It's very cool. Welcome to Salon Talks, John.
Thank you.
So I'm very
yes,
excited.
whoever thought I'd be a gift book?
Well, I mean, I've received your books as gifts before.
Well, good,
so.
good. But this is designed for the problem graduate. I should say right off that I am really qualified to be your commencement speaker. I was suspended from high school, then kicked out of college in the first marijuana scandal ever on a university campus. I've been arrested several times. I've been known to dress in ludicrous fashions. I've also built a career out of negative reviews and have been called the Prince of Puke by the press. And most recently, a title I'm really proud of, the People's Pervert. You know, if you know anybody that's graduating from school and has had a hard time or took 8 years or you know, this is the perfect gift for them.
Yeah, I really liked that you were there to talk to all the graduates, but you focused your speech, it seemed to me, on the people that I relate to. The people are like, now what do I do?
Well, RISD is an art school, so basically they're all artists, so they probably all had that same question. What do I do now? I got this. And I think it's important. I think I gave real advice. I thought it was good advice, but it might not be quite so, I don't know, Hallmark greeting card kind of way that really means nothing and you can't take the advice and do anything with it.
Yeah, so I think the kind of crux of your speech was when you said, go out into the world and fuck it up beautifully.
Well, I mean, wreck things in a good way. That's youth responsibility. Every new movement comes from ending the movement that came before. So I say, don't try to get on your parents' nerves. Try to get on the coolest people 1 year ahead of you in school's nerves. They're the ones. Then you can change things, right? And not always be so happy that you're an outsider, because I would say today probably both Trump and Obama think they're outsiders, right? They do. Be an insider. Get inside, like Valerie Solanas said. Get a job, get in, and then fuck it up. Then go to the next place. Fuck it up. Fuck it up. Unwork. Well, that was quite a feminist, radical thing she had. But I am a radical feminist, too.
Maybe not fuck it up quite the way she did.
Yeah, no. Well, no, like shoot people. But the idea of it was funny to me in a way, that what you have to do is go out and get in the inside and make it work, which is the only thing I ever did like that happened accidentally was Hairspray. It was the only devious thing I ever did. I made a film where two men sing a love song that's now done in every public school in America. So, but they didn't notice. So I snuck in like a Trojan horse and did my so-called damage and got out. And that's what college graduates should do.
You're best known as a film director, but I've always thought of you as almost like a philosopher.
Oh, well, thank you.
No, it's true. You know, your kind of philosophy of trashiness.
Well, I think the politics of all my movies are the same, which is mind your own business and don't judge other people. You don't know the whole story. Wait till you've heard the whole story, and then you can kind of figure where people are coming from. Something causes everything. So, and I'm most fascinated by subjects that I don't really understand, that there's no easy answer to, that I'll never understand. And I'm always drawn to subject matter like that, and I like to bring my audience along with me to be a little surprised by it and made nervous by it, and I never understand why people say, I like feel-good books. I already feel good. I don't need a book to make me feel good. I like to be troubled. I like to go in a world that troubles me and amazes me that I can't understand, and then after reading a book think maybe I understand it a little better.
You know, I think that maybe the world is kind of coming around a little more to your point of view. One of the things I always liked in some of your older books was that you wrote a lot about your fascination with true crime. And like the Manson family. Yeah. And I feel the world is coming around a little. It's so much more popular than it used to be, true crime.
Oh, I have to be careful when I talk about that, because I wrote in my book Role Models a very serious thing about my really belief that one of the Manson women that was one time, she was 17 years old when she met Manson, Leslie Van Houten, should be paroled. And she got a parole date this year for the very first time, and Governor Brown turned it down. But she's going to get another parole date, I hope, and I hope eventually he will let her out, because I do believe that she was 17 when she met a madman, and she's been in jail since 1969. She did a terrible thing, and she's, I think, paid a price, and all she can do is be a better person than she would have ever been if the crime didn't happen, and I believe she is. But I don't go to trials anymore because I get recognized. And when I used to go, Um, I could voyeur it, I could see it, and all my movies have trial scenes in them. It comes from that. And if I wasn't a filmmaker, I would be a lawyer. I'd be a good criminal lawyer for the worst, the damned, the despised, and the depraved, as Jesse Jackson calls them. Somebody has to speak for those people, and I'm not saying those people shouldn't be in jail, but I am against capital punishment, even in the most severe, like this Dylan guy. Everybody wants. I don't blame the jury for giving him the death penalty. If anybody deserves it, that's why he can't get it either. Because if he doesn't get it, then no one will get it, and then innocent people won't get it, even if it's only one. Even if it's only one ever.
Yeah, and the notion that spending your rest of your life in jail isn't punishment.
Well, especially him, I don't think the African-American jail population will be too friendly or looking for a cellmate with him. He will be in solitary confinement, but they will kill him. He got the death penalty, believe me.
Yeah, let's bring it back to what you were saying about being an insider instead of being an outsider. I mean, and that being, in your opinion, a more subversive way to do things. Who are some people that you would characterize as insiders who fuck things up from the inside?
That's a good question. Anybody that gets elected to office, certainly. I think what we have to bring back is yippies, bring back like terrorism of humor to humiliate the enemy. Certainly people that work inside, that get in and then influence people. You have to have some power somewhere. It's certainly people that make movies that become popular with America that are certainly changing things. Certainly the transgendered movement. I think certainly people there have gotten through and made people see it in a different way. And so that's always important, to get in there and change things. If you just sit home and bitch and whine, and all the people that say, when Trump got nominated, they say, oh, I'm leaving the country. Well, who cares? You think Trump, oh, well, then I'm not going to be president if you're leaving the country. You're that important to me. Stay and fight. It's college students have to stop studying, get out in the street. If Hillary had won, Trump's people would have beat us up for a week and then gone home and back to normal. We're still stunned. We're not doing anything. They say resist. Resist what? You had to march one day? They should have them every day.
Yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I've been marching, but you kind of run out of a little steam, and I see why
it does.
people do.
And the scary part is that, if Trump, anything does happen, Pence is way, way, way worse. And his wife is even way, way, way worse than Pence.
Why do you say that?
He calls her mommy.
Because he calls her mommy?
Because must mean he's an adult baby.
I don't, I think probably. You think he's got a diaper on him?
I don't know this, but all hookers will tell you powerful men, the first thing they want to do in bed is give it up.
Yeah, I mean, we all heard that about David Vitter, the senator from Louisiana.
And I don't begrudge if someone's an adult. Actually, I'm not marching for the adult baby community. I find them repellent.
So one thing I've been dying to ask you, I feel like one of the things I've been seeing going on with the election of Donald Trump and some of the reactions to him, I see some of the ugly reactions to him are based in the sense that he's trashy, that his gold-gilded, nasty trashiness is offensive to DC politics.
It's offensive to me. It just, it's bad taste, and I've always had good bad taste. There's a difference. His home, I always said, looked like Little Richard decorated it before he got money.
So what's the difference between bad taste, like Donald Trump, and good bad taste?
Because bad taste celebrates being, quote, rich, when any true rich people downplay that. The Swiss are the only people that know how to be rich right. They're slightly embarrassed by it, and they don't brag about it. Trump acts like a poor person that got his first $100 bill. That is his style, I think.
Just splashing gold on everything. It's not.
No, it looks like Jeff Koons did his apartment. Only Trump wouldn't get Jeff Koons.
I wonder if Jeff Koons is jealous now.
No, Jeff Koons, I think, is a good artist. I mean, I think he takes that and makes you look at it in a deadpan way. I don't think, and Jeff Koons would argue that his work is not ironic. I'm not sure that Trump knows what irony even is. The Trump library, what's that going to be? Like one book, the one he wrote and didn't write or read?
That would be awesome, like a gold-gilded library with
no
one
books.
book
Yeah, yeah,
or one
yeah,
book.
yeah.
I'd visit that. Wouldn't you visit that?
No.
Well, you wouldn't visit that,
No,
not even
no.
out of curiosity?
No.
You're just so
No.
opposed.
No, I wouldn't visit it.
So one of the things I liked in this book is you are speaking out for the early riser community.
Yeah, I get up early. The early bird gets the worm, my mother always told me. But however, it doesn't matter when you get up. It's just if you pick a time of the day where that's where you work every day and you keep to those hours. You can work, a lot of people right in the middle of the night. I just can't do it. I get dumber as the day goes along. I'm the smartest around 8 a.m. and the dumbest right before I go to sleep. So it just goes downhill. So I think as long as you can pick a time every day that you can be creative in, it doesn't matter when it is. For me, it's best early. The same way I like to travel early, I'm early for everything. You know, I have to check out the pilot's face to see if he's going to commit suicide. You know, you have to be there early to look around.
It's interesting to me because it reminded me of advice I got once when I was just in high school, which is a journalist is not somebody who waits around for inspiration, they wait for assignments.
Well, or a journalist is one that can never, a good one, never stop being curious and never stop asking questions and is nosy and eavesdrops and butts their nose in other people's business. That is a journalist. And that's what they should be doing.
And I mean, you were also kind of suggesting that an artist should be somebody who at least self-assigns. Today I work, every day I work at the same time.
You should work every day. You should participate in the world you're trying to get in. If you want to be an artist, go to every gallery. Figure which is the gallery that might show my work. If you're a writer, read all the books. Read, you know, Publishers Weekly. Read the journals. Read Variety, Hollywood Reporter. I mean, read all the trade journals about the business you're in, because so what if you have talent? I was saying here, talent's not enough. Sometimes it holds you back. Technique is failed style. So if you just eventually, you have to figure out, okay, I can do this, but then what? How am I going to get people to read the book? How am I going to get people to see the movie? And people say to me, oh, I don't care if anybody sees my movies. I thought, well, then you won't make them for long. Because somebody has to want to see them besides you and your mother.
So before...
And my mother didn't even want to see mine.
Well...
What parent would be glad their children made Pink Flamingos? No parent, even today.
I mean, I'm sure that they were proud of you.
They were, but they wished the product was different. They would have been much happier if I made romantic comedies.
I can actually relate to that hard. My parents are conservative Republicans. They're very proud that I'm a liberal journalist.
Yeah, that's fine.
But they don't read it.
You can't order up your parents. You can't order up your children. And that's what I say in this book.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing. I really appreciated that you talked to the parents. Like, can you talk a little bit more about that? Like how parents should relate to their crazy children?
Well, you can't order them up, but at the same time, if you just got horn implants, give your mother a little time to get used to them. If you just switch sex, it might be harder for them to understand that. Give them a little time. Not like you have to accept this immediately. If you just came home and you had your whole face tattooed, they're going to be upset, you know. But at the same time, your mother says, okay, then you're going to open a tattoo parlor in Paris. You know, you try to be responsible. You work with what you got. You can't order each one of you up. And really, if there's real problems, you just have verbal abuse whistles that you pass out at holiday greetings where everybody gets one. If anybody says anything offensive, abuse, you just blow the whistle. And eventually, there'll be so much whistle blowing, everybody will laugh, and then they'll stop doing it.
That's really good advice. I'm taking that advice. Yeah. I'm just going to sit at the
family. Or the other one, I've said this in my Christmas show, but it's true. If you have a relatives or somebody that's abusive, when they leave the room, you quickly lick their chair. And when they come back in and sit down, something bad will happen to them later. It works. It's embarrassing if you get caught.
Were
you licking my chair? No, I was not. Why would you say that? No,
I won't lie. I've stolen that advice from you before.
Have you licked the chair and did it work?
Yeah, I don't actually lick it myself, but when somebody offends me, I go, like on the subway.
Yeah.
Just rub it on there.
But in the subway, you don't touch stuff. Well, yeah, I do. You should always get germs. That way you don't get sick. Like same way, and vaccination is a little bit of the disease. You need, if you're clean all the time, you're just an open, you're the perfect vessel for diseases. You have to be kind of dirty. I never understand why every man always washes their hands after they pee. In the New Jersey Turnpike, look, they just did open heart surgery. I didn't pee on myself. You know, why do you have to go to all that trouble?
I love it. I love it. So before I let you go, one last question. How should young creatives find their voice? I mean, say I'm a big John Waters fan, which I am.
Thank you.
But I don't want to just slavishly imitate you, as
Nobody
tempting
does.
as that is.
You have to develop your own thing. You have to develop your taste. You have to come up with something that can surprise your peers, but without trying too hard. If you try too hard, it never works. And today, Hollywood makes $100 million gross-out movies that aren't funny, which is the opposite of when I started making Pink Flamingos, where I tried to put a scene in it that pornography had just became legal. What can't you do yet? What is there no law against yet? Well, that's a good place to start. Or how could I get an NC-17 with no sex or no violence? What could I do that would trouble people that much? And that's the key. You have to, but you can't try hard. It will come to you naturally. And you don't have to shock people anymore. You can write a children's book and be great. Think of the next Harry Potter. I mean, basically, you just have to come up with something original, and you have to believe in it. And if you think, well, I can't think of that, well, then you're not going to be a writer. It's plain and simple.
Yeah, go into banking.
Well, it doesn't matter with being a banker if you like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Sure,
This has
thanks
been
for having me.
absolutely delightful.
Make trouble.
My guest today is John Waters. The book is Make Trouble. It's a great graduation gift, or a gift kind of for anybody.
If you get out of jail or
yeah.
off probation.
Yeah, no,
the day
definitely.
you get off probation, it's really a nice present.
I imagine you're still trying to think about what you're doing with your life when you get out of jail.
Well, it's hard because I know a lot of people who got out of jail, and all they give you is a pair of underpants and $10. You know, how far are you going to go with that? And they drop you off at a bus stop where hookers are waiting to get your $10. That's the way it is in Baltimore.
I imagine. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.